Gotta ban mobile sports betting. Agreed. I think all gambling should be banned outside of a casino. This is my perspective. I don't believe in blanket bans or like what's the term? How am I forgetting this term? Things are falling out of my brain, dude. Like fuck, I had it too and I lost it. Like a no exceptions policy. What's the term I'm thinking of? There's a fucking term. I got my missing ping. Is ruining sports all around. I agree. And I think that the access to gambling in our society, worse off for the players, worse off for the watchers. Yeah. It's insane. Especially, you know, I mean, all of it's degenerate, but the most degenerate form is the fact that you can like make first half bets and shit on games. And it's such a scam because you make a first half bet on something, and if you lose, which you will, then you're incentivized to fucking make a second half bet to try to win your money back, which is so fucking, it's like, years ago. And listen, I've been consistent on my anti-gambling position, okay? A stake could come at me with a fucking $100 million contract and I'd say no, okay? I had a thought in my head, pop into my head, like I could make a bunch of money. I could just develop a slot machine app and put it on like the Apple Store and the fucking Google Play Store and make a bunch of money off of boomers. And I didn't do it because I thought it was immoral, because I'm cringe and soy. I love my first drive lays. Hell yeah. Or bro, I dabbled in sports gambling last year very briefly. And what a fucking mistake that was. It had me watching the Timberwolves play like the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I'm sitting here like fucking freaking out because Nas Reed just got put on the bench and I need him to make 6 threes for some reason. So fucking bad. If I'm going to watch a gambling video, I might as well watch the king himself. I've wagered like 30 bands since 2021. So bad. Jesus Christ, man. Not good. I made a TikTok about this. I don't know if you saw. Watch me here. I'm going to glaze myself RQ, but it's worth. I made a few TikToks about this actually, but people who do fentanyl literally die at lower like percentage rates than people who have a gambling addiction. Like I fully believe this with how prominent gambling is like everywhere in society at this point. I really believe we're going to have like like an epidemic of mass suicides in like 10 years. Suicides from men who are in their 30s. It's censored for TikTok. Give me a break. 10 years from men who are in their 30s and like late 20s. Like almost every single person I know gambles somehow. A lot of them with like CS cases or like stocks. I was talking about you, Tokyo Terran. They'll do like risky like day trading. I was actually thinking of Jay Philly when I said that though. Sorry, Fluber Goop. Bull. Like Pokemon cards, like all these things are gambling. I think it's going to be a lot of people who ruin their lives on gambling and see no way out. That's what happens. People who do fight literally die. So true, King. That guy was spitting, honestly. We should listen to that guy more. Reason why there are no aside from the Cosmo balconies on the Vegas Strip. Yep. It's like, it's so bad. It's the most deadly addiction you can pick up. And being more deadly than fentanyl is crazy. That is some cooked up shit. Oh, I like how everything I search now is Atrioc reacts to. I've become such a fanboy, dude. What's wrong with me?
Crypto Zoo.
Parlay. Gambling has changed. It used to be you'd lose your money on slots in Vegas, but today, not only can you do that, you can also bet on your favorite sports team, on the opening coin toss, on this individual pitch, or on all three in a parlay. You can do it from your phone, your tablet, your Apple Watch. You don't just have to gamble on sports, you can gamble on esports, on video game items, on slots with those items. You can do it in Roblox or on regular stocks, on meme stocks, gamble with calls, gamble on earning calls, gamble on calls with earning calls. You can gamble on political events, world events. You can bet if Zelensky's going to wear a suit before July, if Jerome Powell's going to say inflation 50 or 60 times in September. And you don't just have to gamble on that. You can gamble on crypto coins, Trump coin, Dogecoin, Fartcoin.
I do love Vegas though. Yeah, I bet. And I love the trap house. That's where I get my drugs.
You can gamble on the champion of Fartcoin coin, and you can gamble on any of the posts the champion of Fartcoin has ever made on whether they will become popular or not. And if none of that's your cup of tea, you can also just gamble directly within your banking app on a game of roulette.
Also, I just realized you were saying that the missed opportunity was this thing at the top, this Mick Tonight thing. Well, the reason why it was that, I'll show this very briefly. I have this, which is what I've been using. However, this was the initial, it was a Mac Tonight reference. So Mick Tonight, like Mac Tonight, you know? But I like Mick at Night more. Well, Nevada does have a mobile gambling ban. Wait, that's fucking based. Wait, Nevada is our fucking paradise? That makes sense, right? Nevada's had to deal with all the gambling bullshit for way longer than everyone else on such a scale.
Like a gentleman. And don't even get me started on the ads. If you turn on sports.
Jesse, no! Not Jesse Pinkman. You cannot gamble aside from the casinos. This is what I think is like what should be the case everywhere. I think if you want to gamble, you should be able to, but you should have to get your lazy ass up from the couch and go to a brick and mortar casino. And you can even put sports betting in casinos. That's fine. I just think having 24/7 access to it in your pocket is not good for society.
Esports, podcasts. Not even my favorite political show is safe.
Shout out to Prize Picks, the best app to fire on sports in the game.
You will be bombarded with gambling ads by every famous person you've ever heard of.
DraftKings.
DraftKings Sportsbook.
DraftKings Sportsbook.
Uh-oh.
How did we get here? And is it a good thing that we're turning every spare moment of our lives into a game of chance? I'm betting no.
At the very least, prop betting should be the first ban. Well, unfortunately, we live in a society without regulation now. Unless you say mean jokes about conservatives like Charlie Kirk, then you go to jail. Otherwise, everything is legal. This is such a cinematic intro. Holy shit. Ohio banned prop betting on college sports last year. That's cool, and I support that. But also, Ohio just made it legal to pay high school players. So
There are three things responsible for gambling becoming more mainstream, but the first and biggest trend is simply the mainstream becoming more like gambling. See, Silicon Valley learned a decade ago that gambling mechanics are incredibly good for user retention, so they put them...
I supported paying college players. I'm not so sure about high school players. I don't know if I can get myself behind that. NIL should exist in high school? Why? I feel like high school should not be... I feel like you should not be monetizing high school athletes. I feel like that's bad. I feel like that adds so many bad incentives. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Whoops.
Everywhere. Let's say you're shopping online. Well, now you can spin a wheel to unlock prizes. Or if you're playing video games, you can open a loot box, get some randomized items. You can even use those items as virtual currency in a casino we've made a 3-part series about. Or maybe you don't have a problem with loot boxes for it.
The only ones getting paid are the top of the top to begin with, but that's my problem, is I don't think anyone should be making bank off of high school athletes. I think that schools... It's against the rules for schools to like recruit players for their high school, but they do it anyways. No one gives a fuck. But I feel like monetizing, like high school sports should be like an extracurricular thing. I don't think it should be monetized. Not true. What do you mean not true? Private are allowed to recruit? Oh, well, that's dumb too. I mean, everything about that's like a 7-layer problem, honestly, because allowing. Whatever. You're essentially creating a game where different schools can battle it out. Obviously, like they're probably not looking this deep right now, but like schools can battle it out to recruit players to live near them, which would imbalance like things like property taxes and shit. Like that's like a very removed problem though. I feel like high school athletes don't have great advocates. Like all you can do is hope that the parents or some coach, like LeBron had a great coach in high school at St. V's, I know that, who essentially acted as his father. But like if a player doesn't have that, they're ripe to be taken advantage of now because you're monetizing high school sports. Already happens. I know that there are schools that are like known for having really good basketball programs and it attracts people, but I didn't know they could directly recruit. Like I know LaMelo Ball went to some Christian academy somewhere that would like his dad moved him there to play basketball, but I don't know. I already like it's such a foundational problem because I feel like so many different things play into it. IMG Academy recruits and is a boarding school in Florida, recruit to live and play. See, I don't think that's good, but what do I know, man? I feel like the fact that there are high schools that recruit for sports, but not for like academics is also kind of weird. Like maybe this exists and I haven't heard of it, but like, I feel like it would be better for society if we had like private schools that were like highly competitive for their academic, you know, output. I'm just saying those players should be allowed to make money. I mean, like, yeah, I guess I see where you're coming from, but I think that the entire system is probably pretty broken. If that's like in the existing system, maybe I would agree with you, but I think the system itself is flawed. Can DM you a school? Don't say out loud. Okay.
Adults, but we've also put them in kids' video games because, you know, got to start them young.
Do it on Snapchat
Roblox
or
is the
Discord,
largest game
either or.
for minors, and they are stuffed with randomized loot boxes. But even if that's fine for you, what about the third-party websites, which against...
I didn't know that. That's interesting. Well, that's good. I guess it's probably just less publicized, less talked about than sports because people are more interested in sports.
POS allow full gambling based on a kid's game. And yes, there are actual kids gambling on these apps.
Right, I just...
This is crazy.
Won a bit of profit there. I had 200 Robux. No, I had 200 Robux in profit, 100 Robux in profit. But I lost them, but I had 50
His Robux. We got him spinning the Robux wheel.
Robux, and I lost it, and I thought I got 50 Robux again. So on this, mine's on a...
I blame Valve for this one. I blame Valve for bringing gambling to children through video games.
Well, what I'm gonna do is buy.
Obviously, EA is also highly culpable, but Valve pioneered it, EA mastered it, and now Valve is
40 crates now.
raking it
No,
in.
not 40 crates, but like 44 crates. Yeah, look, like 44 crates.
Client seed, verify fairness. 1 case, 2 cases, 3 cases, 4 cases. The equalizer. 44 Robux. Lightning fun. 10x drop chance. Color changing top hat. Red to black. 20% drop chance. Color changing top hat. Blue to black. 10% drop chance. This is crazy. What the fuck am I looking at?
Yeah, looks good. Let's go.
All right, guys, I'm implementing my calls to action, by the way. If you're watching the stream and not following, please drop a follow. It would be very much appreciated. Thank you very much. Much love.
Let's go. We're in profit. Let's go.
It is absolutely disgusting to see that. And look, I spoke to an insider who worked on this website, Roblox Wild, before it got shut down. He shared data which claimed they made $5,000 a day, or roughly $2 million a year. Thankfully, this website got shut down, but third-party gambling sites still persist because copying casinos makes a ton of money. And that's why we've been putting it into everything, including our politics. Prediction markets are the answer to the question of what if we could YOLO on
Exhilarating Spank. That's a fucking based username. Thank you.
election results and world events. The biggest websites are Polymarket and Kalshi, which have exploded in popularity during the American election cycle. But it isn't just major events that attract bettors. I was recently asked to investigate whether this was a suit that Zelensky was wearing. Why? Well, the prediction
Rummy, I think. Thank you.
market had bet $200 million in betting volume on this bet.
Tank Flocky. You see, my plan is working. You guys see the hot girl in the bathing suit, so you want to follow too, so you can see it again.
And some of them were really mad that they decided, no, this is not a suit, I guess. Whether you think it is or not, the volume
You have
of
been
betting
psyoped.
here is insane. And one reason for that is because these companies are exploiting loopholes that allow betting even in states where normal gambling is illegal. Because these companies say they're not a casino, so they don't fall under the same rules, which is why instead of having to be 21, you can now gamble at 18 on prediction markets. And while there have been legal challenges to this, both of the major companies, Kalshi and Polymarket, have recently brought on the president's son as an advisor, making it hard to see how they're gonna be meaningfully regulated. Meanwhile, all of the major betting apps are busy launching their own prediction market copycats to get around the same weak rules that we still have regarding betting. And don't even get me started on the other loopholes that are out there. Have you ever heard of the TikTok of sports wagering?
This is Cheddar.
Cheddar!
We're building the TikTok of sports wagering. Legal in 20 more states
Amazing.
than DraftKings. Accessible for a
Goonaholic, my boy. I know you followed for that fucking GIF or GIF, whatever you prefer.
18 to 21-year-olds. Live, in-game, micro betting. Swipe to predict every moment of every play.
I'm going to stop you right there. If you missed it, Cheddar is a new startup trying to combine DraftKings, TikTok, and Tinder features into one app. And one of the things they brag about is they're allowing 18 to 21-year-olds as a competitive edge. Guys, can you believe the untapped market of teenagers for gambling? Now, to be fair, Cheddar has not launched yet, but this is obviously the future we're heading towards.
The TikTok/Tinder of sports betting. That sounds really good for society, if you ask me. I think that turning every element of your life into a game of chance, I think that's how you live a happy life, is what I've heard.
Turning everything into a maximally addictive gambling product.
It's sports wagering with the pace of a slot machine.
ESPN has that now on the app. What do they have? TikTok scrolling highlights that you can gamble on? Bro, I think CoffeeZilla is going to talk about it in this video. TikTok was doing a segment about how gambling they were doing. It was the who's the NBA player who just got arrested for betting on his own games? Not Tyrese Maxey. Fuck, I forget. ESPN was doing a segment about that and about the problems with with sports gambling, and in the bottom left corner of the screen, they had a ticker for ESPN Bet playing, and they hide it halfway through the segment.
Yeah. Isn't that the most dystopian thing you've ever heard? We're trying to turn
The scrolling highlights by themselves, that's a really cool idea. I mean, I'm opposed to short form content, generally speaking. I think it's bad for society, but you can't really regulate that. So
sports betting into slot machines. I mean, the funny thing is this whole product is built around yet another loophole called a sweepstakes casino. And that's how they get around the 21-year-old age requirement. Here's how it basically works. Sweepstakes casinos claim that you don't actually need to purchase anything to play. So it's kind of not gambling. In fact, you can get free coins to access their games, but they also have a second currency which you can buy. Well, not buy. You get it for free when you buy the worthless coins. For example, their website says if you buy 100 cheddar coins, you get...
This is like the old mobile game scam.
Get 5 bonus cheddar cash. And that's
Just
usually...
use a fake currency. Use poker chips instead of real money, and it doesn't count. Genius.
what you can gamble with and redeem for real money.
Of course, you have to purchase the fake currency, but...
Actually how Stake US works. If you didn't know, Stake International...
This is like a double dark pattern too, because not only is it a loophole, but it also makes you less like aware of the money you're spending, less conservative with how you use your money.
Is one of the world's largest casinos, but they aren't allowed here in the United States. So they have an American arm, which is a sweepstakes casino, which has gold coins and stake cash. One Redditor explains how the loophole really works. Quote, one stake cash is 1 USD. They only use gold coins because they need to say that you aren't gambling with real money to stay open in the US. Except, of course, you are actually gambling with real money. They just have a virtual currency workaround, which basically everyone has figured out. Some casinos are just kind of more honest about it than others. Cheddar's basically saying the quiet part out loud. They're going after 18 to 21-year-olds with TikTok, Tinder, sports betting at the pace of slots. And by the way, people are betting on their success. They're actually in a...
Yes, when your gambling company is proudly advertising that 18-year-olds can use it, and that's one of their selling points. That's a good company right there, brother. Waxed Hernia, disgusting name, but thank you for the follow, my friend.
Cohort of startups invested in by a Silicon Valley investment firm called A16Z. But if you think that's a bad idea, now let's talk about banks and gambling. I recently made a video on Yada, which was a fintech, which is a complicated story. We've done a ton of work on here and here. But basically, the original pitch was a no-lose lottery, which gamified savings. Lots of YouTubers worked with them, and they acted like a bank, at least at first, until they switched their new business model to be about allowing you to gamble inside the app and lose money, essentially becoming a casino within what is essentially a bank account. Now, I should actually note that Yada recently shut down the banking side and have fully focused on the sweepstakes casino part. I guess it's a more profitable business, but it's a sign of the times that everyone
What's up, Cordy? Saying, yes, we are covering some dark topics.
is moving their app more towards gambling, and finance is going the same way. On August 19, 2025, the investing app Robinhood announced they are bringing sports betting prediction markets to their
because when you want to take a break from your finance gambling, you want to be able to do some sports betting. Let's go, Robinhood.
app. In the announcement, the vice president of Robinhood claimed sports betting was a, quote, no-brainer, as we aim to make Robinhood a one-stop shop for all your investing and trading needs. AKA, we noticed people were leaving to other apps. We don't like that. We'd like you to never leave our app.
Reddish
Ironically,
kick,
the
thank
very
you.
next day, FanDuel, a sports betting app, announced they were bringing stock market betting to their customers.
But I will ask you about what some call the gamification of markets. Why this move? Why FanDuel? Why now?
For us,
I can't wait to hear what the CEO of the gambling apps has to say.
to have a partner like FanDuel and be able to have 14
Oh, sorry, he's partnered with FanDuel. Even better.
million accounts on day one. I'm not becoming a casino, contrary to popular opinion. I didn't buy a casino. These are markets that will be offered to the general public, and we think is massively exciting.
FanDuel is a market. You heard it here first. It's not gambling, guys. It's a market. Duh. Dipshit.
What it could do.
And you couldn't have a more perfect image of how finance is embracing the casinos and vice versa. Actually, correction, you can have
A hedge fund teaming up with a gambling website has got to be the most demonic fucking partnership in history.
a more perfect image, because after I wrote this, the New York Stock Exchange's owner invested $2 billion into Polymarket. So actually, this is the
2-month gloss. Thank you.
perfect image of where we are. And a result is a lot of young people now see the stock market as kind of more like a betting market. The most popular group
That's what it is. When the stock market becomes entirely fucking speculative, which it is gambling. Speculating by nature of itself is gambling. So
Reddit is personal finance with about 21 million followers. In second place, Wall Street Bets, where gambling on the stock market is embraced and celebrated. It grew the most during the meme stock craze of 2020, which shifted how some
I
people
remember watching Wall Street Bets blow up. What a degenerate shithole. Some good memes, though. I do like when they post their losses.
thought about investing. Instead of being driven by earnings, prices, or fundamentals, people gambled on memes, attention, and vibes. People are chasing bigger returns and taking on bigger risks to do so. One measure of this is the amount of debt people are taking out to invest. Margin debt is at an all-time high of $1 trillion, which even on an inflation-adjusted basis is near all-time highs and up 5x over the last few decades. Not only that, the rapid growth of zero-day options by retail traders is also a telltale sign. It's grown 5x in volume over 5 years, showing that people are trying to gamble more. Zero-day options are...
Hell yeah, brother. Redistribute that wealth back to these billionaires who own these gambling companies. Hell yeah.
the stock trader equivalent of red or black at the casino. Fast action, massive wins or losses on
You're
a
almost at the diamonds, buddy. Keep digging.
single day. But if the stock market is America's casino, then meme coins are basically the back alley bookie who will break your legs. Bigger price swings, faster.
Meme coins are so funny because you have to be such an absolute dipshit to get fucked over by a meme coin. You have to be so dumb because there's no there's no utility to a meme coin. It's not even a real currency. It's just people thinking they can get in and get out at a better time than someone else that they can fuck over. That's it. It's like, yeah, the people who make meme coins are pumping and dumping. They're rug pulling, but so are the people who are buying them and trying to get out before the other suckers get out.
Action meme coins are even more degenerate than meme stocks and pump and dump usually within a single day.
Yep.
Among the people who trade these, pump.fun is the leading destination as the
What a funny fucking name for your meme coin website, pump.fund. They're not even trying to hide it.
one-click launchpad. Anyone can make a meme coin in seconds, and there is no value in it other than the expectation that someone might be more foolish than you and buy at a higher price than you did. And of course, Pump.Fun is happy to take a cut and make most of the money. Most traders will lose, but now you can also get a cut if you're a content creator who pushes one of these coins. We've seen the same thing from launchpads like Meteora. They allow creators to have a split of some of the trading fees, and it kind of democratizes the grift. Now, anyone can farm their followers and fans for money.
If Jack Doherty is participating in something, it's legitimate. That's how you can tell. If you see this trustworthy young man involved in something, you know that's the real deal.
You don't have to be particularly sophisticated. And that's actually how Trump made millions of dollars in fees with Trump meme coin without ever selling. He just farmed the fees. And to be clear, this money doesn't magically appear. It's being siphoned away from regular people who mostly lose. It creates a sad ecosystem where most creators are racing to the bottom for attention to get their audiences to pump their worthless coins, leading to a predictable spiral where most are scamming, rage baiting, or otherwise trying to shock each other into becoming the biggest grift of the day.
Cups got drained. Boo-hoo.
Bro, this kid is funny. Okay, I actually support this kid. This kid made like 50 grand off of meme coins that he said were scams and people bought them anyways. This kid's like, what? He can't be older than 12. I respect this kid.
Thanks for the 20 bandos.
Thanks for the 20 bandos.
If you've ever heard of
This is why people hate streamers. There are a lot of good reasons to hate streamers. Fair enough.
Zero-sum game where someone has to win for the other one to lose, meme coins are negative sum because of all the trading fees. Most people, by definition, will lose. The real winner, of course, is Pump.Fun and people pushing it. According to one analysis, they've generated revenues of over $800 million for themselves, while almost none of the traders have made significant profits. According to one analysis, 0.4% of all traders will ever make over $10,000. So almost no one. And look, the reason we're going through all of this is to explain the many ways that gambling is no longer just about slots, cards, brick and mortar casinos. We've injected it into every conceivable aspect of our lives. And that has two effects. One, it's inescapable. You cannot avoid.
You can't stop the wins, buddy. That's what he's going to say. Gamifying every aspect of your life will just lead to you being wealthy.
Amazing.
Hopeful helmet. Thank you.
Gambling by avoiding Vegas anymore. It's literally everywhere. And then two, it's also harder to understand and study because most researchers are studying like casinos, sports betting, but so much of gambling is not that anymore. So as we get to the numbers of this stuff, remember, everything's going to be an undercount. But it is still important to talk about those casinos, and that's where we're going to shift now. Starting with the biggest trend that has happened for these casinos, and number two on our reason, which is sports gambling becoming legalized. Rewind the clocks for a second back to 2018 when the Supreme Court overturned a federal ban. At the time, basically, you could only sports bet in Nevada. But after this, you can see in a few years, we've completely flipped on the issue. Most states now allow sports betting. And along with that, the advertising budgets for these companies is absolutely enormous. DraftKings, FanDuel, Underdog, Prize Picks. They've spent hundreds of millions of dollars getting celebrities and influencers to push their product every year. And man, has it worked. As I'm writing this, the #1 sports app on the App Store is not sports.
Sub to the stream,
it's not
people.
ESPN. ESPN and the NFL are second and third. The #1 sports app is actually DraftKings.
Dumbass.
And in the top 10, half of those
He
apps
misspoke.
are sports betting, which is insane. There are two reasons for this. Obviously, one, hundreds of millions in advertising, but the second is what are called inducements, which is when these apps will incentivize players to download them and place a bet, sometimes literally offering what seems like free money.
It's got an NFL offer.
Don't play with me.
We just turned $5 into $150 in bonus bets.
New customers bet $5, get $300 in bonus bets if you win.
New customers get risk-free bets up to $2,000.
Now look, the reason casinos do this is kind of obvious. If they can make you place one bet, they're more likely to place the second, third, and 100th. But even setting aside the fine print of these weird offers, does it not strike anyone else as weird that we're allowing gambling companies to give away free stuff? Imagine the cigarette industry told you, buy your first pack, get 50 free packs free to get you started.
Based? But can they do that for like Camel Crushes or something? A better cigarette than Marlboro Reds? Holy shit.
Imagine Budweiser said, shotgun one, they'll send you a case for fun.
Or like maybe Modelo. I would take this offer up in a second.
It's insane. Imagine Budweiser said, shotgun one, they'll send you a case for fun.
Wait, but I'm the goat at shotgunning. Wait, This is my society that CoffeeZilla is describing.
It's insane. And yet, that's exactly what these sports betting apps are doing. It's the lifeblood of how they get.
Camel crushes, are you a fat chick? It's crazy how many stereotypes you have in your head for you.
Amazing.
It is crazy because you know what's so funny is I literally didn't say Newports because I thought you might make a fucking stereotype joke about Newports, and you still hit me with one.
New players. And once you're in, these apps will also cater to their biggest players, biggest losers, called VIPs. They will send them gifts as they spend their life savings. And there have been multiple lawsuits actually about this. And to make it worse, if you do the opposite and you actually
American
win
Spirits,
too much on
actually,
these apps,
I changed my
they
mind.
will try to limit your betting, as one investigation found.
If you show any real ability to effectively handicap a game and beat the sportsbook, they will limit your bets and essentially kick you out of the sportsbook. They will not let you win. Can you talk to me a little bit about how sportsbooks treat you once you start winning?
They don't want to accept your bets.
Yeah, it turns out the casinos actually hate the exact player that's
Snowflake, I am special.
Amazing.
featured in all of their advertisements.
Veritable rivulet. No, I've never heard this word. Thank you. Light blue spirits are the goat of cigs. They are pretty fire.
Amazing.
I say there's nothing like chain smoking GPC cigarettes, 'cause any smokes will kill ya, but these will make you feel like it.
The guy who actually wins too much money, which is actually so crooked when you
Overhanging psych, thank you.
think about it, that if you're one of the few people who achieves what they're promoting, they actually don't want you. Now, as I was writing this story, another massive scandal actually broke in the sports betting world, which is even more corrupt than not allowing winners.
But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups.
It's Terry Rozier. I remembered right before he said it. Right before Cash App Patel said it, I remembered.
Damon Jones and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today. Former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal.
I read a story. I don't know if this is true. Oh my God, I hope it's not true, but it's so funny. Cash Patel had to do some public press conference and he didn't have his stupid fucking FBI jacket on him, and he refused to leave the plane and go give his little speech, his little press conference, until someone else gave him an FBI jacket to wear while he gave his stupid speech. What a cosplaying piece of shit retard, dude.
Gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years.
That's right. The FBI just exposed a massive sports rigging scheme that was using these apps to win money on rigged basketball games. One example of this was March 23rd, 2023, when an NBA player, Terry Rozier, told a
Little princess needs his tiara, obvi. So true. Literally, though.
Friend ahead of time that he was going to go out early on a foot injury. And so that night, $200,000 in bets were placed on his underperformance because no one else knew that he was injured. And a few minutes after Terry kind of limping around, he left the game and the bets paid off. A few days later, Terry Rozier and his friend allegedly counted the money at his house from the fraudulent wagering scheme. And this was one of several rigged games the FBI alleged, but the media was quick to point out this isn't even the first time someone was caught doing something like this.
Jonte Porter, who played for the Toronto Raptors, has already pled guilty. He's already pled guilty. He's awaiting sentencing
He was a bench
for doing
rider.
just what Rozier and Jones.
Jonte Porter was a little bench rider who didn't realize that gambling apps track your exact location when you make bets. So if you make a fucking bet from your house or from the locker room of the fucking facility where you play professionally, the gambling apps will know and you will get caught. Like, what a dipshit. Now, Terry Rozier doing it is even crazier because Terry Rozier is not a bench rider like Jonte Porter
are accused of. So this train has already left the station, Laura. And I have to tell you, when Jeff Teague, an NBA player, says, there's betting everywhere, it is everywhere. I've done ads for DraftKings. LeBron James has done ads for DraftKings. In fact, ESPN, when they were reporting...
Also, I think... I'm such a LeBron fanboy, but the fact that he's done DraftKings ads makes me sad. It's like Kevin Hart, bro. Like, you're already multi-hundred millionaire. Like, why? Why are you doing DraftKings ads? Like, is it really just that you already sold your soul once? You don't have to, you can't do it twice? Is that what it is? They already sold their soul long ago.
This story this morning, they're having programming, people talking just like you and me, talking about this scandal on the press conference the FBI was giving, and underneath them on the ticker was an ad for ESPN.
Oh, here's what I was talking about earlier.
Programming, people talking just like you and me, talking about this scandal on the press conference the FBI was giving, and underneath them on the ticker was an ad for ESPN Bet, which is ESPN's own sportsbook.
Yeah, the irony of all of this is that the same people who condemn illegal betting going on are simultaneously pushing the sports books which create the opportunity. And at some point, the producers on ESPN actually noticed it. And see if you can spot the moment they try to fix the sportsbook ad in the corner.
You hear a lot about legal sports gambling on this show. The Bussin' Boys, obviously sports gambling is a huge part of what you do, so we put those all out there as a preamble because it might be in the back of people's minds, and we acknowledge that this is a different time and place.
Where'd it go?
However, there is a fine line, not so fine.
We're talking about how gambling is horrible for sports and society. We better get that fucking ad off the screen, bro.
There is a bold line that obviously has to be drawn.
The fucking producer went in OBS like, hide it. Hide element.
Well, that's a little awkward. You're actually supposed to remove the ad for sports betting before talking about sports rigging. And honestly, we've only hit the tip of the iceberg.
We live in a clown society.
Because we've since learned these professional leagues are useless at catching this stuff. Turns out the NBA already investigated Terry Rozier
Honest report,
before the FBI indictment for that exact game. And they cleared him because the NBA commissioner said there was insufficient evidence.
Ultimately concluded that there was insufficient evidence despite that aberrational behavior to move forward.
Right. So even with aberrational activity, they had the right game, the right guy, and the NBA couldn't find enough evidence. I mean, the more money that goes into sports betting, the more this will be a problem, and the leagues are clearly not equipped to handle it.
Nope.
But people just look the other way.
They're inviting it. It was fucking the commissioner of the NBA, Adam Silver. He was the guy who's like at the forefront of pushing for legalized sports betting.
Because the money's too good. And I want to now address the size of these betting markets because they're absolutely enormous in ways most people don't understand. And to get our heads around it, we're going to look at some survey numbers. One study estimates that 22% of all Americans and almost half of men my age have an online sports betting account.
Yep, that tracks. I'm surprised it's less than half. I would think for young men, like age 20 to 40, I would imagine it's in like the 75% plus range.
Another estimates that 1 in 4 people have placed a bet on sports and 1 in 5 have placed a bet in the last year. Like with all surveys, there's margins of error here.
1 in 5 Americans has bet on sports in the last year. Oh man, you're only supposed to bet on sports when you do like a a fantasy football rather league with your friends. That's when you should gamble on sports, not otherwise. Negative Farmyard Mayhem. It's a long username, man. Thank you.
But the data mostly agrees. Sports betting is very widespread and extremely popular among young men. And for the ones who get addicted, it's financially devastating. One recent study looked at Americans' finances before and after sports betting was legalized by their state. They found that bankruptcy rates rise approximately 10% after legalization. Another paper looked at financial stability, noting that for households that do bet, they spend on average about $720 a year sports betting. And the study found that for every dollar someone deposits for betting, there's a reduction in net investments of just under $1. As people gamble more, they invest less, which means their financial future is worse. Makes sense. But this is especially true of problem gamblers or gambling addicts. To be clear, this is not something that affects all gamblers. Roughly 1% of the world population suffers from this.
Spag? Not particularly easily. I can try really quickly. Here, fine. I'm a sucker for you people. Here's my backup cam. Let's see how I can do this. Hopefully I don't dox myself in the process. You see her? Flip that shut. Oh my god, you made me fuck up my normal cam, bro. You're done. And not just in Minecraft.
It's more common among people who bet regularly and bet online. Two of the things that sports gambling encourages. Problem gambling completely obliterates people's finances and affects more than just the gambler, because as they beg, borrow, or steal to continue their addiction, they affect everyone around them. And I do mean steal. Roughly half of gambling addicts will commit a crime, and most of those crimes are to continue gambling, often leading to a spiral where the addict doesn't see a way out, which is why problem gambling has one of the highest suicide rates of any substance addictions. Full stop.
I don't get it. You know none of this matters, right?
Yeah.
You've tried this before with Roulette, CS2, and it did nothing.
That is the dark feeling you get when you talk about these things, is that none of it matters. We're all cooked.
Yep.
No, literally, I mean nothing. Absolute silence. All the moralizing, the anti-gambling. You're wasting your time.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, that's so fucking sad. That is so dark.
Let me tell you a story. A year ago, I was offered $20,000 to do a video by casino. Now, I said no and made a whole series about it, but what I didn't tell you is that later I was offered $1 million to cover my legal fees in an ongoing case. Now, this was offered by a person who said they wanted to remain anonymous, no strings attached, very nice person. They said they wanted to just help out. Sounds great. But then I found out the money
Nothing's free, buddy.
was coming from a sports betting company.
Of course.
They were one of the top people, and that's
I feel like that's like
amazing.
So obvious. Which I'm sure he figured out right away, because who else is throwing around money for no reason other than PR that in anywhere close to the amounts or frequency that sports books do? Like, holy shit. Or crypto casinos.
A dilemma for me. I am publicly against gambling, and here this person's kind of privately telling me, well, gambling can pretty much solve all my problems. Pay my legal fees, you know, they're telling me, oh, their company's regulated, it's fine, it's above board. Ultimately, I had to say no. Thank you for the offer, but, you know, in my head, there's no such thing as $1 million, no strings attached. And, you know, obviously, I also can't take $1 million from a sports betting company and then go make a video criticizing sports betting. But it gave me pause and kind of gave me an aha moment that I was missing before, where I started to understand exactly how screwed we are. And this goes into our third reason gambling is winning.
Over here.
The casual way these casinos can throw around life-changing money for any normal person is why the data will never fix this. It's why having enough sad facts about addicts or interviewing people whose lives were ruined will not change things. Believe me, I've done it, and it's never moved the needle. To be honest, it's not even debatable that gambling is kind of bad for most people and life-destroying for a few. Even the industry kind of admits that. But the reason gambling is everywhere in spite of that is there is too much money in the game benefiting the people that make the final decisions, right? Think about the states with tax revenue, the casino profits, the influencer payouts. There's a small group that gambling is incredible for. So incredible, it basically defies logic. I'm talking billions of dollars in profits. And if you want to understand why gambling is everywhere, you can't just look at the statistics. You have to look at the money. And I want to show you exactly how this works with an example. This is Matthew. He's better known online as Nadeshot, and recently he took a gambling deal with an offshore crypto casino. And when he first talks about the deal, I want you to notice it's a little strange. He almost seems hesitant.
Boys, we just partnered with Roulette, and before I say anything, don't gamble, okay? You will lose. I promise you, you're gonna lose. But that's why I partnered with Roulette, so they can pay me to gamble. So even when I lose, I'm still gonna lose.
Yeah, it's pretty weird to hear someone say, don't gamble, guys, while announcing a partnership with a gambling company. Nadeshot implies that he...
Dear God, you nuked the stream. What the fuck just happened? I tried to adjust my camera. My bad. I paid the price, all right. Also, this video of Nadeshot telling his viewers not to gamble while announcing his gambling sponsorship is just so fucking funny.
He almost seems hesitant.
Boys, we just partnered with Roulette.
Aspen's pretty good. Agree to disagree, my friend. There's a reason why he won't debate anyone on his beliefs.
And before I say anything, don't gamble, okay? You will lose.
Amazing.
I promise you, you're gonna lose.
Whitney,
but
thank
that's
you.
why I partnered with Roulette, so they can pay me to gamble. So even when I lose, I'm still gonna lose.
Yeah, it's pretty weird to hear someone say, don't gamble, guys, while announcing a partnership with a gambling company. Nadeshot implies that he may lose money, but in fact, he later admits that it's the most money he's ever been paid.
This is the biggest partnership that I've had in my entire career.
No, instead, I think the hesitancy, the weirdness of this video is because Nadeshot knows pushing gambling is kind of bad for people.
Yeah.
He said so in a podcast a couple years ago.
I definitely think that people streaming on Twitch, all the crypto betting, certainly incentivizes younger kids to be more interested in crypto gambling. Like,
you think so, Nate Shot?
I know personally people that should not have been gambling online, but because it's so easy to gamble with crypto,
and because they watched XQC,
Amazing.
Now they gamble.
Did it when they could not afford to do it, and it has not worked out well for
Julia,
them.
thank you.
Right. Nate Shot knows personally it's bad. But for the reason why he's doing it anyways, just fast forward 2 minutes in the podcast and we find out because the host asks, a hypothetical. What if someone offered Nate Shot $100 million to promote gambling? And well, let's just say his tone changed.
I ain't turning down $100 million, bro. You got me fucked up, brother. I'll go on there and I will crypto gamble 24/7, dude.
That's pretty sad, man. I just don't understand the mindset of these people who are already like successful and wealthy, where they're like, yeah, man, I'd sell my soul. I'm like, why? There's no way your life is significantly better now that you have taken this gambling deal than it was before.
At that point, man, it's the parents' fault. Hey, I'm just working over here. You're going to pay me more than LeBron? Brother, I would be lighting up, cash on fire, gambling crypto. I would sell my soul for 100 M's. Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
We should clip this. We should send this over to Kate.
I won't sleep. I will be your workhorse. You want me to pump blue chews and crypto gambling? I will do it all. You got me fucked up. Them kids, dude. Fuck them kids.
Look, I'm just going to say, you can say he's wrong for saying that. He's a bad person.
Yeah. We're at such a disgusting point in reality now where at least he's being honest about his motivations. I guess there's that much.
For saying that. But the reality is, this is why gambling is winning. The casinos have so much money.
Honestly, him being that straightforward and literally just saying, fuck them kids. I respect that more than XQC having to go on these cope sessions where he tries to justify promoting gambling to children.
They are buying people's souls. Even people who kind of admit gambling's kind of bad. Put enough money on the table and Nate Shot says, hey, fuck them kids. And by the way, speaking of fucking them kids, let's talk about Drake.
Oh, thank you.
W's in the shot.
Wait, what did he say?
It isn't just streamers. Fuck them kids. And by the way, speaking of fucking them kids, let's talk about Drake.
W's in the shot.
It isn't just streamers
W's
or
in the
influencers
shot.
taking deals. It's the biggest rapper on the planet. He signed a reported $100 million deal recently with Stake, the crypto casino, which is wild. There's really no endorsement deals like that anywhere else that hit those kind of numbers. And just like Nate Shot, Drake wants you to know that, even though he's taking the money, gambling isn't for everyone. Recently, he posted an $8 million loss, saying, gotta share the other side of gambling. Now, maybe some of you think that's brave, but to me, I see that and go, Drake, that is the only side of gambling for most people. If any normal person lost $8 million, their life is over and their legs are broken. You're the only one with another side to this whole thing. Where, to be clear, that other side is reportedly getting paid $100 million. And to be clear, it's a lot of people taking these deals. I'm not trying to single anyone out. Let's also take Kevin Hart.
They deserve it, though. Especially Kevin Hart. Holy shit.
Right? One of the world's smallest comedians. He pushes DraftKings. And this one I find really bizarre.
Do me a favor, man. Go to the DraftKings app. Look at what I'm betting on. Look at why I'm betting on. Place your bets. All the action is here. DraftKings, Kevin Hart.
I'm not even going to ask why Kevin needs you to get on DraftKings and bet. The fact is he's worth a reported $450 million. But the real thing I find so gross about this is that Kevin Hart has gone on podcasts and talked about the need for financial literacy. He talked about this on Joe Rogan.
The biggest problem within our community is
Short,
knowledge.
little W, true.
We don't know. Debt is welcomed because it's celebrated. That's all we know. The knowledge isn't given. So it's not till you obtain that knowledge and understanding.
It's crazy how many of these people, they go on Joe Rogan and preach and preach all these things that you, like a normal person, should agree with. They'll do it on the mic, but then when their agent comes to them and says, hey, DraftKings is offering us $10 million to do a commercial, all of a sudden They don't have all these good things to say.
Go, oh, this is why you put money up. This is how you increase versus decrease. Oh, this is how you earn on your money.
Amazing.
Oh, wow. I can gain wealth by investing in what? The stock world is what? How many people partake in the stock world? And is there a part that isn't necessarily gambling? Is there a low risk part? The information isn't there.
Yeah, Kev, maybe the information isn't there on the stock market part, which isn't gambling, because you're too busy telling them about actual gambling. Understand that Kevin Hart is not just a guy who sometimes talks about it on podcasts either. He has a whole partnership, an actual partnership with Chase Bank, where they ran a campaign to improve financial literacy. But then Kevin goes on the side and he's pushing DraftKings, which preys on people's financial illiteracy. And while we're talking about small comedians with big bank accounts, let's talk about Joe Rogan too. And listen, I'm not trying to be high and mighty with all this stuff. I know it sounds a bit like that.
Like 5 short jokes in a row. Good one. CoffeeZilla.
Believe me, I am eye level with these guys, okay? I'm very short too. You can't tell behind the $10 million studio desk, but no offense is intended here. We got to discuss though how the biggest comedians in the world, biggest, smallest comedians, are pushing DraftKings. Didn't Joe?
I'd sell my soul for 10 mil without a second thought. Well, that's not good, for one. I wouldn't. But also, it's not average Joe selling his soul for 10 mil. It's multi-millionaire, or in the case of Kevin Hart, 100 millionaire selling their soul for 10 mil. So it's a little different and a lot worse.
Get a $250 million deal from Spotify. I didn't realize before this video, like, how many gambling ads he has been running recently. In the month of September alone, there were 11 DraftKings ads in 14 videos. And with Joe especially, it's weird because he's the guy who rants against Big Pharma's manipulative advertising.
If you can advertise, you can manipulate people and change their opinion based on theatrics.
So many...
Everyone gets a free bet.
We all want to win.
Whoa, everyone gets a free bet? Everyone?
Hey, let's win together.
You know what to do.
You have music and people dancing and holding hands and spinning around in a wheat field. Like, that is so manipulative.
Yeah,
and
you think so, Mr. Joseph?
Manipulation. And when it's something that is so important, like making
you think so, Jobles?
Critical health decisions. There's so many of these commercials. Like, so many times I'm watching television, I'm like, how many goddamn drug commercials are there?
By the way, I agree with him. We are being manipulated, but change a few words from that rant, and you could say the exact same thing about how gambling is pushed. Casinos are also manipulative. They don't advertise the actual reality where people lose. Instead, they say things like winning, cashing in, opportunity. And Joe Rogan's a part of that.
Opportunity,
every game
you say?
is another chance to cash in. Don't just watch the action, win with it. Every snap is loaded with opportunity.
That is just as manipulative as pharma ads pushing pills that may end up addicting you. In both cases,
Well, Joe Rogan doesn't give a fuck about pill pushers, because doesn't he push that Alpha Brain garbage on his show? Doesn't he own that company?
collateral damage are the addicts we created along the way. And I guess I have to ask, maybe people think, oh, one's worse than the other. Is there that much of a difference between a drug addict and a gambling addict? No, really, I'm asking.
It's like if you see the drug addict, you see him, he's shooting up or whatever it is, and you see him fainting, you go, oh, that poor bastard. But when you see a guy who's...
You can't really compare old Joe Rogan with the American flag in the back to current Joe Rogan, though, because this was a different person before he was replaced by a doppelganger who had no principles, morals, or correct opinions.
Fully in the grips of gambling, trying to figure out how to get his money back, and he's all jazzed up with adrenaline. He doesn't understand why.
It's just like cocaine. It's just like drug abuse.
This guy's also a piece of shit.
It's just like the opiate problem. It's just like anything else. It could you and I both know people who have lost their lives gambling. Okay, you've seen people in pool halls. You see how they get, Joe Rogan. There's no difference in the drug addict and the gambling addict. Not at all. No difference.
Till it's time to make some bank, that is.
There is no difference. Then why do we shake our head at the Sackler family and pharmaceutical execs who push pills that ruin people's lives, but somehow nobody cares we're doing a very similar thing with gambling? At every level of society, we are shoving this down people's throats. And it's not that I mind if people gamble individually, but we are pushing it on people who otherwise would not have done it, because everything is gambling now, from sports to entertainment to investing. It is totally inescapable. And we're moving the casino from Vegas directly into people's pockets, connecting to their bank accounts. I don't know exactly how this is going to end, but it doesn't take a genius to see where it's going to lead. Gambling is going to be a much larger problem for people, and especially young men.
Probably not going
and the
anywhere.
saddest part is there's no amount of data or facts that I can give you that's going to stop that. There's just too much money at stake.
You think Frogan would ever debate Asman? I don't even know what they would talk about. That's a good question. I think it would honestly be a smart move for Frogan. It would be a good opportunity for her to present herself as not psycho, but because she is psycho, I don't think she would be able to do that. She might just say like no because she doesn't want to, or because she thinks it would make her look bad. I don't know. But I mean, Asmongold has like now sworn off debate altogether for some reason. Well, not for some reason, because he's afraid of being called out for any of his more unhinged beliefs, I think. But then again, she would debate about her nail prices. I don't know. No, Frogan's like a lefty type, so all she ever talks about and all she would probably want to talk about is the genocide. But I'm pretty sure they would agree on most of that anyways, so. Regarding online sports books or winning cash on sports, we currently work with Prize Picks. Between us, I enjoy betting very mildly on sports. Who is this? I reached out to Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn, Bad Friends, Nelk, Kevin Hart, Drake, and Nade Shot for comment. Theo Vaughn and Nelk responded for comment. Regarding online sports books or winning cash on sports, we currently work with Prize Picks. Between us, I enjoy betting very mildly. It makes the games more fun, but I'm also aware of the risks it can pose, though probably not very knowledgeable. BC. So at least we know this is a real statement and didn't come from a PR firm because he's using text speak. It's probably just a DM. Though probably not very knowledgeable because I haven't had those same exact issues. Who said this? Nelk or Theo Vaughn? We make sure to follow guidelines from our sponsors, though it's worth being more intentional about emphasizing those risks to listeners. Unprotected Bunker, thank you. You realize, motherfucker, man, I don't got no cap on a set. It's Theo Vaughn, okay. I feel like in the podcasting space, there's a decent amount of regulation in our ad reads. Okay. And I try to remember to advise to our listeners, rather, that gambling may not be right for them, but I do often forget to do that, TBH. That's pretty... Theo, no. Nelk, Kyle, Salim, and Steiny only affiliate themselves with legal platforms like Prize Picks and play by the rules. Nelk manager. That was more of a PR type statement. Very short and very stupid. At least Theo Vaughn's was like authentic, even if it was dumb.
Hey, come back to the bar and let me fix you a drink. The weather isn't changing anytime soon.
You know, all it would take is basic advertising rules or legislative change to put a stop to half of this stuff.
That's the thing.
Never gonna happen. Not during this administration.
Money makes the world move, Coffee. And the people who write the rules like them just the way they are.
Yep.
Do you really think it's worth all of this, though? Like, just for a little more money?
Hey.
Yeah, that's my question. Like, is it really just like number go up? That's what drives these people to wake up in the morning? That's crazy.
You said it yourself, didn't you? It's not just a little money. It's a lot more money. If people would sell their soul for $100 million, well, imagine what they do for billions.
You know, maybe it is time for that drink.
True.
You're gonna tip this time, right?
Good video, as always, from the king himself. This is kind of a banger.